I think what I will do is I will let the person who's the keynote speaker actually moderate the session also at the same time. So now it's up to you, Farid.
This mic is on. Respected Ikram Sehgal Saab, family, Sehgal family, my colleagues here, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. Well, let me begin with saying that now that it's the third session and you must be feeling the fatigue of the Davos that Sir just mentioned, we in our student and college life and school life have studied laws of motion. So there was a law of motion, inertia, which says that a body at rest will remain at rest and a body in motion will continue its motion till an external force is applied. So to me, Ikram Sehgal Saab is that force which has really gathered us all here and to do things that now Pakistan is at a stage that we should be opening our wings, whosoever has the capacity, capability to go around the world and showcase Pakistan, his own company and the exposure and things that he can do better by bringing somebody over or with whatever he has got to sell it to them. So I think the two-way traffic is very important, and each time I'm here, a lot of energy is created, but sometimes what the law of science says that energy created can neither be created nor be destroyed. It only changes its form from one to another. But in the case of Pakistani entrepreneurs and leaders and thought providers, this sometimes lacks, and people like him are doing a great service to humanity, to Pakistan, and to everybody, that they bring us all together when Ikram Saab has given this platform to all of us to really go ahead with discuss people who really have mattered and have already shown the grace and risen. So my topic today is something that's very close to my heart as an investment banker and representing Pakistan's capital markets. It is such a, I'm passionate about investing in Pakistan, and my next few minutes would be confined not only to the listed space, but private equity as well. But more so will be covered by my colleague and friend Chishty, because he has a lot of activity being taken place at Pakistan. It's not only through the listed space, it's in the private space as well. So Pakistan, like we discussed, and Dr. Urs, if he is down, he mentioned something on which I had a reply. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He said Pakistan is a resilient story, and I was as a Pakistani a bit. I felt some pride in that statement, sort of a potential, etc., etc. And my colleague Bakar, she said, "Don't, Farid, don't avoid these potential and this and these words. Not here, even at Pakistan." She says, "Now come and try to go beyond the potential and everything," and she's so right. So I had an answer to that in Pakistan, resilience is not really taught, it's inherited. So whosoever in Pakistan, and I'm seeing the youngsters sitting here, and that resilience is something that is reflective in anything and everything that we do. So since I represent capital markets of Pakistan, and often we take people, entrepreneurs, the shining ones abroad, and ask the international fund managers to visit Pakistan. So the two-way traffic goes on, and for many years. And I've been to about 31 countries, and my friend sitting here, Ali Farid Khwaja, and a lot of people have really shown to the world, to the black rocks of the world, what Pakistani capital market is all about. And we have had every top-notch investor, fund manager visit or invest in Pakistan. But yes, it is true that presently, a lot of us are really wanting them to be back, and there is no reason why they should not be back, because as I'll show and in the presentations and the talk that we are to carry on today, that now that what somebody who is to invest in Pakistan looks forward to. It's the exchange rate stability. It is the fact that in Pakistan, people have made money, the investor class, but the foreigners, because of the PKR dollar parity change, they don't really end up making money. They used to earn money, the capital gains, but on their dollar part, they used to their profits were halved or sometimes wiped off. But for the last 3 years, because of the reforms that I'll show, or you already know what sort of reforms have taken place that have, for the last 2.5 years or so, PKR versus dollar is quite stable. And how have we been able to achieve it? It's a dog debate, but suffice it maybe to say on the face and for the due to paucity of time, that Pakistan today is not what it was, especially when it comes to investing. And my foreign friends, now they are not back to Pakistan and the emerging markets and the frontier markets because their own country was giving them a good return. They asked me, Farid, why Pakistan? And I counter question them, why not Pakistan? You have had interest in Pakistan, and they'll obviously be coming back to Pakistan. But like I said, it's not only the listed space that I am to talk today, it is beyond that as well. So, like in Pakistan, what has happened is that then we are now back to the CPAC 2, the ML ones. I may not discuss the things that I have written for you, but while we slide down a few slides, you will come to know that what is it that has happened in the years for Pakistan. So the next few minutes, I'll try to showcase Pakistan and investment Pakistan. So real quick, the financial close is around the corner, and in the morning, where the finance minister said that it's just being delayed because of one reason or the other, but all the homework is done. In Pakistan, the assets, the real estate assets and the stocks, a majority of them are still trading below book value. Some of them have been fine in the last couple of years. So I represent the capital market. I know, I have understood that what it means when we say what this whosoever has survived the storm has learned the art of making money in the stock market. And it is said that if you can really bear one or two of the onslaughts and high and lows, then you are in for a. So like in July 2023, the index was 39,000. Karachi stock and ESC 100 was 39,000. Today it is 1,89,000. And the good part is one of the ratios that we in the financial market we use is price earning ratio. So we take price in the upper column, the denominator is the earning, and whatever comes is called the multiple. So just imagine that a company which was priced at 100 rupees and was earning 10 rupees, so the multiple will be 100 divided by 10, it should be 10. So it was a multiple of 10. So I have traded and I have worked for a bank, which is now Samba Bank, it used to be Crescent Bank. The index then was 765, let's say 800. Or for argument's sake, for your understanding, it was 1000. So from index of 1000, today I just told you that the market is at 1,89,000. So just try to get what has happened to the Pakistan economy in the number of years that I'm talking about. So ideally, if the denominator was to go haywire, the multiple will affect. So I'm saying the price earning multiple continues to remain same. In fact, it is low. It is 8.5 times right now. and we have traded at 11-time multiple and 13-time multiples. So what has happened is that over all these years, with all the odds that the entrepreneur of Pakistan has endured, high inflation, high interest rates, high electricity costs, etc., etc., but that multiple is still not achieved, which we achieved in 2017. So the earnings has gone up to that level that a share which was first at 100 and earning was 10, now the share price is 1500, but the earning is also 150, but even beyond that. So only then we will get that denominator, and while we divide, it will come to the same number, otherwise it won't come. Am I clear up to here? So this is simple mathematics, that in Pakistan earnings have gone so much that the price earning multiple continues to be same, rather it is lower than what we achieved. And we also did achieve something like $99 billion, which although the market has performed very well, index has risen from 39,000 to 189,000, but still that price earning multiple is 8.5, despite, and we at Karachi Stock Exchange and a lot of people who really watch for this market will watch me out, that even this year we are expecting a rise of 53% in the local bourses. So to me, the risk that we have carried for long was absence of reform, and the good news is that in Pakistan the reforms are happening, and happening at a right pace. So somebody, if can just get the second slide or third slide. So this is it, yes. So somebody is listening, okay. So Pakistan had reform agenda with the gas and power and privatization and everything. So these reforms are really paving the way for a smooth sailing of the investors. And as we all know, the greatest asset of Pakistan is its people. And I'm so touched when I see people with lesser means smiling and are content when things are not really kind to them. So that Shukr Alhamdulillah concept, sometimes they get carried away with the content thing, but no, the ones who really feel that what this nation, what this country is really giving me. I also I would like to acknowledge the idea and of Ikram Sehgal family, and the able team that he has to showcase these youngsters to Davos, and I think they will continue to remember the rest of their lives. So what forum you have provided them in the very young age. So in Pakistan, as we all know, we do not suffer the lack of ideas, but we lack the scale of capital that is required to really youngsters and others to grow and grow. You will also know that in Pakistan, the fintech adoption, digital banking and payment, freelance exports and IT services are on the high, and e-commerce penetration, although at the very nascent stage, but Pakistan is just like, there was my friend who would say, I will not learn how to drive, to ride a bicycle, not to ride a motorbike. Whenever God will give me, I'll have a car. And his Kugelman was good, God gave him the car at the very early age. Like in Pakistan, people have gone from landlines to straight away mobile phones, and the very people who really are the domestic support to you, they all know how to really use it. And the ones who don't know how to use these smartphones, AMA has done wonders to their lives as well. So I am thrilled to see youngsters sitting here who are doing some AI-enabled services, education. They have used education in the education and technology, health technology, and here we should not miss something which is called agri technology. There's a company with the name AgriTech. So every time somebody asks me, Farid, are you interested in AgriTech? I go, no, the share price has gone very up. Said, no, not that AgriTech. It's agri-technology that I'm referring to. So I did the same with Abu Bakar as well. So I think this substance, there was a time when in Pakistan there was very small holdings. Right now what we are looking for is the land, a bigger land, and with idea to export, and not the substance but to value addition. So agri-businesses has a lot of potential for the investment in Pakistan, but because it requires the food processing, the controlled atmospheric stores, the cold chain in logistics, smart irrigation, halal food export, and one of the latest things that I learned last year was halal tourism. I never thought there is some tourism which is halal tourism as well, but there is a market for it. And I had an international conference, I attended to that, and I was surprised that there are numerous hotels in the world which says halal hotel. So that was something really interesting to me. When I discuss investment, it is obviously private and public both. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan is passing through a transition of energy. We all know in Pakistan there were three things that had haunted the investors and the investment climate. One was the high interest rate, high energy cost, and the third was and continues to be the super tax, the taxation system in Pakistan. Two of the issues have been settled, 1 and 2. Third, super tax and taxation. I keep on reminding Aurangzeb Saab, and I'm glad that he normally agrees to things, but obviously he puts it in the budget that I'll be doing that in the budget. But I think if they provide us with the framework on the how to and when to reduce the super tax, a lot of companies which are now sitting on the sides will come to be listed, because once you are listed, you have to behave, you have to be disciplined, and then a lot of companies comes up which are not listed. They say, if we list and we start behaving, my competitor is not behaving, so I'll be out of the market. So in Pakistan, the good news is that due to the tax reforms, there is no escape now. People used to say we have earned the luxury that we're enjoying, it is the agricultural income. Now agricultural income is also taxed. They say we have earned this from this. No, that is also taxed. So the chain is such that if you are spending and God forbid a bad money, ill-gotten money, you will be sooner than later will be caught in something that is. So one good news about the cost of energy is that we all know that in Pakistan the per unit cost is high, but the good news is not that you must have listened to it, but I was really surprised. So in Pakistan, K Electric had an international tender to produce 240 megawatt of electricity, and to my utmost surprise when I learned that this contract was won by a Canadian firm called JCM. There are 5 investment bankers, so 3.1 cent per kilowatt hour, which is 9 rupees per kilowatt hour, is something that they won the international tender, and it is, by the way, lowest amongst the lowest in the world. So we have skeletons in the cupboards, that is okay, but the new entrepreneur and the people who really matter are now in a way in a position to compete with the best of the world. So given that we have at Dhabeji, it was at Dhabeji, so Dhabeji has wind and solar both, and the combo hybrid has really given us pride that we now have this 240 megawatt will, by the way, go to the K Electric because it was their tender, but 3.1 is something that the crypto miners and everything, they said this is the ideal energy because it requires energy, we all know. So I wanted to touch upon a few things. Where are we? Please go ahead a few. So this is how we have achieved a few things that I've discussed. How have we been able to achieve the stability in the exchange rate? This you can have a copy of it and you can say, and you can see the curve rate is under a very tight belt. Next, please. These forex reserves have increased to $16 billion from a low of $3 billion, and also, you have to be reminded that Pakistan's now debt is under control. $80 billion is what we owe to the world, and this is, by the way, after paying $24 billion this year. So Pakistan balance of payment position is quite better right now. And next, please. This is what it takes for anybody to really. Also, given the positioning, the geographical location of Pakistan, because Pakistan is a bridge between Central Asia, China, Middle East, and South Asia, hence investment plus technology is required in logistics. I explained earlier in the case of agriculture locally, and even in this four region, logistics, supply chain, efficient port operations, and trade facilitations. So a lot of know-how and money is required for us if we are to play that role that the world wants us to play. So people say geography is destiny, and Pakistan is situated at a crossroads of the world. The world cannot ignore, and I really somebody said it, and I totally agree to what they say. So Pakistan there's one more good news that I'm going to give you. In May 2025, Pakistan entered into a league of nations which has a GDP of 400 billion plus. And a lot of people, and by the way, Pakistan's taxation, the FPR collects, it used to collect 7 trillion, now it's collecting 13 and a half. It doubled in 3 years. A lot of people say, every time we set a target for the FBR, it is not met. And I keep saying them, reminding them that look, it has doubled in less than 3 years. So in Pakistan, and we have been taught by our parents and elders that low aim, no failure is crime. So Pakistan, FBR, and the authorities and everybody, they set a target which is very high, and if that target is missed by 5-10%, no worries. I mean, 13 trillion plus is a great number. We also know, and Samir would watch me out for this, that the smart capital doesn't come at the peak of the comfort. It really comes, it arrives at the bottom of conviction, and a lot of us are convinced today that Pakistan offers what smart capital seeks. It has young, dynamic population, it has scales, it has reform momentum, and valuation that reward courageous investors. So in every field, Pakistan is now excelling, and beyond the 10th of May, we, as a Pakistani, wherever we go in any part of the world, we are given a bit better recognition than we used to be. So due to positive time, I will be just concluding. So my message to the international investors normally is that when you invest in Pakistan, you should remember that you are partnering with a nation that has refused to give up. We can be bent, we cannot be broken. So this is something that we all have in our lives, that we as Pakistani, as a nation, we cannot be broken. Allama Iqbal once said, बातिल से दबने वाले ए आसमान नहीं हम, बातिल इज झूठ. सो बातिल से दबने वाले ए आसमान नहीं हम, 100 बार ले चुका है तो इम्तिहान हमारा. So to me, Pakistan is an uncut diamond, and it's raw, it is resilient and ready to shine. Thank you very much. I would do a difficult thing of asking somebody first and somebody after. So Michael Kugelman is normally so articulate in whatever he really talks, he really speaks. So I'll request Michael to kindly say something, and given on the topic that what Pakistan is now, what Pakistan economy is now, how are you viewing it, and how did you view it about a year or 2 or 3 back? And you may conclude by saying, what do we expect from the Pakistan economy in the times to come? Not the distant, but a year or 2 after.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. And it's always an honor to be here. And thank you to my friend Ikram for including me in this discussion. So I had said yesterday that Pakistan tends to defy the odds. And there have been several times in recent years where there was a pretty strong fear and expectation that Pakistan's economy was going to melt down. And just a few years ago, as the Prime Minister himself said earlier this morning, there was a very real concern that Pakistan would default on its loans, and that didn't happen. And so to answer the first part of your question, absolutely, Pakistan's macroeconomy has stabilized significantly. I mean, you laid out the facts. We know them all. Foreign reserves are in a better place. Inflation is down. But at the same time, it's important to acknowledge that macroeconomic stabilization does not equate to macroeconomic stabilization does not equate to microeconomic stabilization. And we know that there are continued levels of economic stress for so many across Pakistan. And I know that there was some recent data released on household income showing that people are not spending as much on food as they used to because they can't afford it as much. So food insecurity is a very real issue. Poverty rates continue to be significant and problematic. So I think that keeping the broader view in mind is very important. In terms of the future, I think it's very encouraging that this current government is committed to reforms. I feel that I've been studying Pakistan for 20 years, and I feel that every government says that it's committed to fulfilling reforms. And oftentimes, if not every time, they fall short. So I think it's great that this one is committed, and I certainly think the PIA privatization was a landmark. Even though it's just one case, I mean, we know that privatization has been a big priority for quite some time. This is something that key donors like the IMF have been looking for quite some time. So that's significant, but it's just a start. So I hopefully we'll see more of that. And I'll just end by making one broader comment on geopolitics and how this links up to this, because I study geopolitics. I study South Asia in the context of geopolitics. There's been a lot of talk over the last year or so about how Pakistan has enjoyed this resurgence, how it's become more present and prominent on the global stage, which is all very true. But I would argue to maintain that level of influence on the global stage, it needs to ensure sustained long-term growth. And that's why all this discussion about reforms and all this discussion about the economy is so critical, right? I mean, you could be a country that doesn't have significant military power, but you could still be a regional power if you have economic strength, right? UAE, Singapore, there are many examples of that, even Bangladesh to an extent. But if you don't experience sustained growth, if you don't have a number of core exports that are competitive in the global economy, it's going to be difficult to maintain their global significance. So I hope for Pakistan's sake that it's able to maintain this momentum toward reforms, and that soon enough we will see sustained growth, because that will enable it to be more present and prominent geopolitically as well.
You have touched upon something that right now Pakistan is perhaps doing things rightly. But what is it that we should constantly do to be able to have that upper edge, which right now perhaps we are enjoying, without the tangible investments coming our way? But the borderlines and this, we are in the air. I mean, we are in the talks that. So in the capital markets, now that we are planning to be back to the emerging market status from the frontier market, because we have behaved a lot good in the last couple of years. So I want you to kindly answer in two terms. One is from the capital markets, and the one is the private equity.
So thank you for that. Since I'm not an economist, I'm going to answer that question a bit more broadly. Others here may want to address that more so than me. There's a lot that Pakistan still needs to do. I wasn't suggesting that it's 100% on the right path. I think it's quite clear. We could be very candid that sometimes the lights don't stay on. Basic issues like this are critical in Pakistan when it comes to thinking about long-term growth. One doesn't want to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. For sure, Pakistan is not experiencing an energy crisis like it was in previous years, but this is very real. But in terms of things that I think could be done better, I'll get back into the geopolitics. Pakistan, understandably, is looking for more investment, FDI, from key donors, particularly those far afield. The U.S., there's a lot of momentum to get investment from the U.S., as well as the Middle East. But I would argue that Pakistan, there might be an opportunity for Pakistan to work more with its immediate neighbors. And it may seem strange to say that because we all know about the India-Pakistan problem. But I think there's an opportunity now for Pakistan to look into ways to partner more commercially, economically with some of its neighbors in South Asia. We know based on changes in Bangladesh the last year, there's now trade happening between Bangladesh and Pakistan for the first time. Pakistan has a long-standing friendship with Sri Lanka. It doesn't have deep relations with countries across the region, but it doesn't have any bad, strained relations with any country in the region aside from India. But there's something to be said for investment, for defining investment broadly, not just in terms of securing capital from outside, but also investments in time. Talking with your neighbors, not necessarily India, but other neighbors, to try to share, to discuss shared challenges. Pakistan has so many significant challenges that are shared by its neighbors, Bangladesh and so many others, whether you're talking about climate change, or connectivity, public health. There's something to be said for promoting dialogue, to discuss how to tackle shared challenges, sharing best practices, because ultimately that can bolster Pakistan's capacity to address these challenges, which certainly tie into economic issues, whether you're talking about climate change risks or that. So I'll just leave you with that.
So coming to Samir, because this topic will overflow to you. Pakistan right now hasn't got a balance of payment crisis. Politically, it is, political landscape is better. This regime is doing better. How has this really given you comfort to do private equity of the scale that you are doing? And what has been your experience in investing in Pakistan? Because, like I said, smart money can move to any part of the world. So while you deliberately chose to invest in Pakistan, and you have been investing quite a lot and for quite a number of years now, what has been your take on your decisions that you took years?
First of all, I dare not talk about macro strategy with anybody sitting in the room. Frankly, you're better off just asking him. I'll give you a personal view in proprietary. As a proprietary investment philosophy, we have enjoyed Pakistan, have benefited from Pakistan. Let me talk about the negatives first. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy at all because the ease of doing business is still not where we would want it to be. Second is promised reforms take too long, but eventually they happen, which is why this morning's conviction statements by the finance minister, prime minister, and deputy prime minister gave us a lot of confidence. And from the private interactions we have in Islamabad and Rawalpindi, we do believe we are on the track finally for long-awaited reforms. That will change the dynamics dramatically and lower our risk premium and improve our returns and duration. The real issue, frankly, has not been policy. It's been U-turns on policy or not implementing policy. I mean, listen, someone as smart as Michael can give you proper study on this, but we're just focusing on that. Just whatever you decide, just go do it. When we were fortunate enough to spend a session with the Chinese Politburo, we do that every few years, and they said one thing. They said if I had one advice to give to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and this poor guy says this every year, and because we have a different Prime Minister every year, he said, if there's one piece of advice I would give to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, would say, just don't change your mind. Even if you think the decision was wrong, just go with it. Because if you change your mind once, people are going to come at you for everything you do. So just go do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So that's our fundamental view. We do think, nevertheless, there are still opportunities in Pakistan, certainly in the private markets, because most of the economy is in private markets. It's not in the public markets. And we don't think Pakistan assets are priced properly. So it's a great pricing arbitrage. We also think Pakistani companies throw off cash, they throw off earnings, while the earnings don't often get rewarded in the market for other reasons, which I don't want to get into now. But if you like cash, this is a good place to own assets in Pakistan. There are opportunities. I mean, frankly, the last thing I'll say is what we do is not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's your classic middle market private equity play. Buy underperforming companies, buy companies that need better management, sharper strategy, more efficient capital structure, and go do some neat things with technology, distribution, etc. It's not complicated. But so people say, well, then what is it? That part isn't complicated. The complicated part is just executing it. So one of the mantras we have is do less. It's a weird thing to hear from McKinsey guys, because McKinsey, we always come up with giant strategies. Our view at AsiaPak is do less, because everything is really hard. Everything is really hard, takes a long time. The entrepreneurs in this room are nodding their heads, but they know, right? The difference from doing 2 things to 3 things is not linear, it's exponential. It's exponentially harder. So the way we've gone through is to do less and to make that happen. But looking forward, we're still optimistic. We're always optimistic. That's one of the curses of being an entrepreneur, right? You're hit with the optimism stick. So we're even more optimistic now, certainly in policy, certainly in macroeconomics. I'm not a geopolitical analyst. I won't pretend to be one, but I do feel a change in temperature. I do feel a change in temperature when I speak to larger private equity investors in the U.S., Canada, like the retirement funds in Canada, the European Union funds. It just feels different. The conversations feel different. They don't start from a place of skepticism, skip a position of maybe we should do something.
Okay, so a follow-up question on that is that while you invest in Pakistan or elsewhere, do you invest in the company which has facade and assets, or the technology part as well, or you mix your capital into the fixed asset part and the tangible asset part, or the technology part?
That's a great question. Honestly, I hadn't thought of that. What we've done is effectively we probably should have thought about that, but we really thought about underperforming assets that we could do a lot with. And there's a lot to do. Pakistan, unfortunately, doesn't develop, own, and scale technology enough times. So while we may have developed it, we don't scale it. Often we just import technology and distribute it. It's effectively, I was in a what's that thing they do in Saudi Arabia, FII or something, and one of the leading people was talking about, we don't develop technology, we distribute it. I'm like, oh my God, you should come to Pakistan, right? So we think there's a lot more to do in actually owning and developing technology, because that's where fundamental capital formation happens. If you own these technologies, if you develop it yourself.
Bakar Saab, coming to you, Pakistan seems to be getting things very fast. It's our habit in our body. Like I said, from landlines to straight away smart moves, and from bank branches to digital payment system. So in your space that we talk, we have digital banks now, we have EMI, wallet, etc., and a couple of more things that the developed world is now. We are getting close to that when it comes to adoption of technology, digital banking, payment solutions, etc., etc. So, do you think Pakistani youth has got something to do with this, this technology adoption in the finance, or it is the need of the hour to really think big and go away with this branch banking and this other things that we have had been using for years? How this change will affect us going forward?
First, thank you for having us, and thank you, Ikram Saab, for the opportunity. This is my second time here. Last time I was here, and I think thoroughly impressed in the 22 years of service that you've given to the nation. I think it is truly commendable that you have done it by yourself. So really, really, there are true examples of it. I'll take it a little bit broader to that, like not to stick on a fintech only. Just generally, the tech market in Pakistan is booming. And I think we need to believe, just to give you a little bit of background, I spent the last 35 years in the U.S., worked in the U.S., studied in the U.S., worked in the private equity, venture capital, you name it, in different sectors. And then moved to Pakistan for 13 months and led the role for Pakistan Software Export Board, which is the prime entity which is responsible for Pakistan tech industry and Pakistan tech exports. And some of the people who were here before me, and you heard the numbers are showing that we are growing. And the reason is we are finally getting some things right. I think the biggest hurdle for us, as a nation, as a Pakistan, was our perception, our geopolitical risks, our focus on bringing the youth into these main markets. These were the fundamental issues. what has happened in the last year or 2 years, if you want to think about it, and I've seen the pre and post May 10th also, there is a fundamental shift in the tone, in the language, in the reception, in the incoming queries that are coming for us. I think the best thing we say is, and I say the campaign that has to be done and is doing right now, and I say Pakistan now. That's a call to action. If you have not realized what has happened in the last 6 months, and truly I've been on the other side, was working in the private and now in the public sector for a while, and then the tones have completely changed. The seat at the table is there for you. It is short shelf life. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it again. And I think that is the lesson we have to learn. And I'm very, 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 very optimistic after working for almost a year with the youth. I think our biggest asset and our biggest opportunity is our youth. So incredibly talented, connected, savvy, entrepreneurial, and the word you use that I said, somebody asked me, so what was your experience look like and how was the nation was? I just defined that, the whole nation, in one word. And I mean it to say, our nation is resilient. You throw whatever you want to throw out at them. Even if you don't give them internet, they will figure it out how to export. Trust me, they are the most resilient people in the world. They will figure it out how to make things work for you. And I think that comes with your own creativity. When you have less opportunities, when you have less options, you tend to be more creative about it. And that's what happens. I grew up in Karachi for the first 20 years, and I went to the States, and then I spent there. The reason was I did not go to any good schools. I did not have anything. I came from a very humble background. The reason why I think, alhamdulillah, I think I was able to make it well in the U.S. was because my grooming and my thing was I have to figure out a solution for everything. I don't understand why people have to just stop and say, this is a problem, so what are you going to do about it? What are the option B? What is the plan B? What is the plan C? I think that resilience, that is what we have in our people, in our nation, in our youth, is what's bringing and propelling us to the next nation. Now, going to that other point, I just want to mix a few things here too. It's please. Samir said it absolutely right. We are doing well, but we're not doing great. And I think we just have to be very, very conscious to say, yes, we are doing well, but we are not doing great. Our potential is so much bigger than what we do. We focus on services. We deliver services. We deliver talent. We do this. The things that will take you to the next level or next two levels is when you start to create your own products and technologies, and that will actually take you. Our biggest IT companies are still not $1 billion. And I think that's reason is because they're services companies. And services businesses are only going to get more and more tough. So as a nation, as a product, and I think what we have been preaching to the decision makers always is, and they're very, very receptive to it, it's like, how do we create entrepreneurs who are creating world-class products at the global level and think global, and you're doing an amazing work there, and there are a few others that are doing this, but I think this needs to be 10 times more today. And if you as an entrepreneur, you are here as a startups also, I'll tell you, you are the most luckiest entrepreneurs you have from Pakistan. This is the best time for you. It is the best time for you to go and pitch globally. Because I, in the US, have done this work from the other side. Now, I go and I say I'm from Pakistan. 10 years ago, 2 years ago, I could not even say I'm from Pakistan. My shop is in India. My shop is my front office is in the US. And they were afraid to say that Pakistan has a back office. Now, you can boldly go in and say, my back office is in Pakistan. The same Pakistan who's now has a credibility on the cyberspace, on our technology space, what we show to the world that we are better than anybody else. And we've shown it and we've proven it. So now is the time for you to be confident. Now is the time to think big. Now it's time to go all in for it. And our numbers obviously are showing up that we just, exports are growing, the ecosystem is growing. What we need to do is to do this. And I think one last point, our problem is not policy. Our problem is not reports. Our policy is not skill. Probably a little bit more can be do. Our problem is execution. I can tell you, I went in there, I could ask a question, why don't we do that? Oh yeah, we have a study for that too. We have a study, we did the study. What happened? Our problem is execution. We just can't execute. And I think that's what we need to continue to work on it. We have tremendous ingredients, raw materials for everything. We have the talent, we have plenty of talent, we have plenty of opportunity. Internally we can do so much, externally we can do this. We just have to figure out how to do better at scale and execute.
Like Abu Bakar just said something which is so true for a lot of us, me and the youngsters sitting here, that our parents may not have given us a big fortune, but they gave us education, which is perhaps the best thing to impart to your offsprings and to your kids. One thing that Pakistan is now really doing rightly and started well is that non-traditional exports. So apart from exporting textile, which is perfectly all right, but now from you mentioned about 10th May and aftermath of 10th May, and the GF-1700 and the technology parts that we export have increased over $13.5 billion. And the inquiries are far more than what we have done so far. So I think that in many other spaces in the same thing, we just graduate from 0 to 100, and our acceleration as a nation is very speedy. So whosoever wants to take up on this, that in the Pakistan of tomorrow will be led by the technology part or the traditional things that we have been doing. And I can request again, it's a philosophical sort of a question for Michael to answer. But developing countries like Pakistan, do you feel their success lies in going to the technological part, or carry on with what they are doing and just complement it with the technology?
No, one has to adjust to the times. And we know that what drives the global economy now, it's the very things that you were just referring to, obviously, tech and all of its variations. And I think more broadly, one could see that countries that depend solely on one economy, on one export, to drive their economies, it comes back to hurt them. And I think you could look at the Bangladesh case as an example. In Bangladesh, for many years, was able to benefit from the success of its RMG industry, which made it a wonder when it came to textile exports. But what we've seen in the last few years is Bangladesh's economy has gone in a bit of a different direction. It's struggled. And I think that's a reflection that countries need to not only be export-led, as the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister said today, but led by a variety of exports. So absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with continuing to export textiles from Pakistan. Though, of course, there's plenty of competition from its neighbors and others. But absolutely need to capitalize on IT exports, AI, and all of that. But again, Pakistan's going to be competing with many other countries. The question is how does Pakistan set itself apart from the Singapores and the Indias and the Europeans and so much? That's a question for the economists to decide.
Samir, your last words on this statement, anything that you want to cover?
Yeah. I'll try to be very quick and get this thing to work. Okay. So technology is failing me, exactly. So, I don't know.
Technology part.
So, half my life is as a technology investor. I run a company, I co-run a company called Spark Labs. It's the world's third biggest early stage tech investor. But one spin out of that we started 18 months ago is based on a fundamental thesis we had about 18 months ago, that the entire world will need its own intelligence. That all the compute in the world sits in the US or in China. And our thesis, this is before Trump lost his mind, our thesis was every single country will need to own its own data, will need to own its own intelligence. So own its own compute, and to develop its own apps, it needs to do it on proprietary data. So nations' intelligence effectively put to good use is the nation's economy. What that led us to do is to build sovereign AI factories. So we build sovereign AI factories in middle markets. We should talk about that. So we are building 4 right now, 2 in Nordics, 1 in Europe, and 1 in South Asia. We'd love to do more. And if any of you are interested, please do talk.
Great. Your last word from Abu Bakar? And then
I think we've said it all, but again, the question was, should we invest in the traditional, should we invest in the new? I think the answer is simple. I think we should invest in anything that will bring money into Pakistan. But obviously the focus has to be in the new economy, because I think you need to future-proof yourself. And I think this is where you're going to change the world, is this. The biggest appetite and the biggest need and the biggest value that we offer in 5 years down the road may not be textile.
Absolutely.
Will be the talent and the intelligence that is needed, and that's what we have, and we need to groom this right now today, and this is the opportunity for us.
So the margins in the textile and the margins in the technologies are way apart for the country. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Anyway, first of all, let me welcome Dr. Sanya Nishtar. And I apologize. I found out my son that we never got the invitations, first of all. So let me take this opportunity. We have to leave in about 5 minutes in the thing. But let me take this opportunity to, as one of the finest technocrats, both in Musharraf's government and afterwards, to comment a little bit about investment in Pakistan.
Thank you very much, Ikram Sahab. First of all, I want to congratulate you. You've consistently and proactively over the last several decades held the fort here. You've made Pakistan present in Davos, and I really want to congratulate you and commend you for your role. I now am the CEO of Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance, so unfortunately I can't be as present in Pakistan events as I would very much like to, but I wanted to be here just to pay my respects, to express my solidarity. This, of course, is our home in Davos. And delighted to see you all up on the stage talking about investments in Pakistan. Pakistan is an amazing destination. It's a jewel that has not been discovered well. You will find people very proactive and facilitative. There is a government that really wants to facilitate investments. And all I can say to you is that it's a destination you should prioritize. And I really want to thank you for having me speak.
So well about Pakistan, and one of the finest technocrats that I dealt with during when she was in and out of government was Dr. Sanya Nishtar. And I think she set BISP on the right lines. And today what we're going to do in BISP, people are going to do in BISP, because of the foundation that she laid. Well, I think the panelists like to congratulate Farid Alam, Abu Bakar, Samir Chishty, and Michael. I think you gave a broad, broad picture, spectrum of what Pakistan investment now can be. And you're very right. 3 years ago, when I used to go to talk in various think tanks in the States and Europe, everybody used to throw Pakistan fatigue at me. But now, and I kept on telling them, I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. So, but the point is that it is now changed. In the last year or so, we've seen, the finance minister is not here, but I must tell you that a lot of work that he did in that thing, in adhering to the promises that were made. See, people used to make a lot of promises to the IMF and World Bank, and they come back and throw the book aside. Now, be adhering to the promises made, and it's a difficult process. So I think that thing, but you could not have a more authentic voice than Farid, and thank you, Farid, for being here. And Abu Bakar, of course, brings both sides to it, because he brought and Samir, because both of them were outside and inside. Both are Pakistanis who have really, really worked the thing. I know Abu Bakar was telling me in 1 year's time he made 17 foreign trips just to hunt up the thing. And of course, did a lot of work for the Pakistan Software Export Board. And Samir, of course, what can one say? Shahryar is not here. But, to invest in Pakistan, put your money where your mouth is, so to say. It's a great thing. So I think we have had a terrific session. In that sense, I apologize. My son is not here, and I suppose he's been caught up in the Trump maniac traffic at the moment, because I believe what they're doing is they're evacuating the houses around the Congress Center first, and then he's going to land by helicopter for security reasons. And during the evacuation, and so somebody is stuck up somewhere, and so is Mr. Sehgal. So please, but even then, I think we did a good session. Thank you, everybody. Now, please, lunch will be served almost immediately, and I request you to please, there are enough tables around, enough this thing, please do come. I can see the lunch is already arriving, and have a good lunch. Bon appetit. And thank you. And